authentic. I help other business owners or potential business owners scale through the authenticities that come with leaving their 9 to 5s into full-time uh, employer of labor. So we'll dive into it. We're looking at how to get grants, which is a very exciting topic because I've got quite a number of them, and how to run your business and to secure your loans or secure loans from the different outfits. So just top line, we will be looking at structuring your business for profitability, business funding options, frameworks that you can consider when you're scaling your business, and a business growth checklist to help you ascertain at what stage of business you are and if you're ready for bigger financial commitments and bigger outputs for your business. So the first is obviously structuring your business. I always start with a business plan, even though it sounds cliche, but it's really your Bible, really, because that is the footprint for everything you do with regards to your business. That is what keeps you in check. That is what avoids distraction. That is what reminds you of your whys. Why have you even started the business? What were the things that made you excited? What were the information or the data that made it look like your business was potentially profitable? So your business Bible, which is your business plan, is what guides you in the first place. So people say everybody's asking for a business plan. It is needed. And it doesn't have to be voluminous. It doesn't have to be 20 pages, but for initial startup, it can be a page or two. And what are the critical things you require? What product are you selling or what service are you offering? What do I even want to transact with? And who are the people that will buy these things? Where are they? That's a paragraph or two. Then your market analysis. Why do I think this product will sell? What is the gap in the market? Where do I see people using this product? What are the use occasions for this service or for this product? We need to do that to validate, because you get times in your business when you ask your whys, and your whys don't have to be personal. Your whys could be logical because you have done market analysis for these things. In fact, they are better when they are logical, where you can remove your sentiments away. And you would always be able to go back to your business plan to say, when I started, these were the market situations, this was the economy, these were the reasons why I thought and was confident that this business was viable. So your market analysis is critical, which is a lot of research, really. Research, speaking to people, giving samples. Then how am I going to sell this product? What are the ways I think I can approach people? Which is your sales and marketing. Are you going to hawk it on the street? Are you going to go to schools? Is your service related to maybe the medical? So how are you going to do it? Are you going to employ somebody to walk into the store? So that marketing strategy gives you a guide of how you will drive your product to be seen by the consumers, whoever are supposed to be on the receiving end. And when you have done all of that, your marketing, sales and marketing strategy, the question is, how am I going to fund it? You need money. So your financial planning is, if I'm going to get one salesperson, I'm going to have to pay them salary for XYZ. If I'm going to produce with a machine, I need to buy a small commercial or home machine to start with. Your financial planning, how am I going to save? What am I going to do? All of your plans. Oh, I'm going to get a grant, or I'm going to borrow money, or I'm going to borrow money from myself and I can pay it back over a year. Whatever that financial planning needs to be documented. And once you are done with all of this, your executive summary, which is your first slide or your first paragraph, is the highlight of all of these things you have done. Honestly, this thing works like magic, because as a business owner, you can get distracted. You can get distracted with consumers' complaints. You can get distracted with competition. You can get distracted with a trend of new products coming up and you're thinking, I need to catch up. But when you go back to your why did I start? What were the gaps? And to be honest, business plans evolve. So as your business goes through the different business cycles, you would evolve, change, adapt, expand your business plan to meet your current needs. but it is a major guide in moving forward. And then before we even go into your financial needs, it's important as a business owner that there's a clarity of vision, which is what your business plan will help you with. Why am I doing this? What is my unique selling points? A lot of people are selling the same thing. So if we all bring our products to the table, why would anybody choose mine? So even in your proposition, in your planning, in your running your business, you need to be able to ask yourself these questions. It could be a first mover advantage. It could be your packaging. It could be the consistency of your product. It could be your pricing. It could be your size or variant options or the flavor options. But there must be a value proposition that makes you more attractive than the next thing. Even if you all have 6 things the same, there should be at least one value proposition that differentiates you, because that is what you would hammer on if you have to do ads, if you have to do different things. Otherwise, if we're all running ads and we're all sounding the same, why should a customer come to you? What is different about you? And that's your value proposition. You don't need money for that. It's a skill that you need to, or it's a research, some work that you need to come about and do by yourself. And then you need to build skills. Some people are accountants who have gotten into business. Some people have maybe even interior decorating skills, but you don't have strategy skills or marketing skills. It's important that you develop these skills either by getting signed into incubator hubs. There are a lot of companies, banks, and different establishments that are doing free sessions for business owners, equipping entrepreneurs to be better business owners. It's always good to tap into those things because you get free education that's even running it in your business. You might get it based on experience, but you would have made a lot of costly mistakes before you get it. So rather have those skills, learn it to avoid those costly mistakes. So another thing that you also need to, another thing that one also needs to do is market and network access, collaboration, partnerships. When I started mine, I didn't do much of that, which I wished I did. But even the few people I had in my circle, I see the benefit of how we have handheld each other, even through the seasons in the last 10 to 11 years. How you can reach out to people who understand the economy, the waves of times, things that have changed, and you don't feel like you guys are particularly competition, even when you are doing the same thing. So it's very important that you go out there, go for exhibitions, meet people, go for trainings. It's never too much knowledge. When you get the knowledge, you can see what you want, what you don't want, but at least get it first. Then you need to have an idea of this business I'm trying to run. How do I see the structure, the team? Even if it's one person in your kitchen, even if it's one PA that comes to your office, what is the culture I am trying to, because that is what will pass through every other person that comes on board. And if you don't get it right from the beginning, it's going to be an issue because we'll just be running on vibes. So it's very important that we kind of ensure that these non-financial skills are learned, are absorbed. And like I said, a lot of them don't need funds. So before we go into the fact that you need money to do things, because many times when we sit to people, you realize that they actually don't need money. There's structure they require, there is guidance on one or two things, there's diversification in their products. So if they had money now, they would make mistakes because they will rush to do things they're not supposed to do because the money was available. So it's always good to have these skills, ensure that you have the right skills on your finances, on marketing, on operations, so that when the money does come, you are able to apply it logically and strategically, not emotionally, not because that is what you think you feel you should be doing. So how do you create a sustainable business model? I would say market demands. You need to be sure that your product is even required in the market. And how have you tested it? Operational efficiency, like amongst whatever you do, are you getting the best price? What is the process you've put in to ensure that your procurement is secure? Like I said, even if it's one staff you have, what are the processes that you put to ensure that you are monitoring and managing your costs? Have you been able to diversify your revenue streams? So it's okay to have one product that is selling and really, really selling, but there are situations where anything could happen. One of the items could be out of stock and you can't recreate that product. And you have a diversified portfolio that allows you to rely on other products while this one is potentially struggling, or you have an issue with it and you're trying to recalibrate how you want to present it to your consumers. So it's always good to look for diverse revenue streams to help mitigate risk in your business. And then most importantly, understand your customer needs. Your existing customers are cheaper to sustain and keep. When you want to get new customers, you are sampling, you are doing ads, you are spending money. Your existing customers are cheaper to keep. So the question is, what is your customer service approach to your customers? Because they are spending, even if it's 1,000 naira or your lowest product will be 20,000, irrespective, they are cheaper for you to maintain relationship with and come back and give you referrals versus new ads and all of the other things we potentially can do, marketing materials that you spend. Even if it's going to exhibition, there are cost implications of going to exhibition. And you find that sometimes you go to exhibitions if you're a product-based business and your cost of the cost you have spent to go to the exhibition is not even covered at the end of the day by the time you finish your products or you finish the event itself. So you spend money on transportation, staff, setup, and you realize that you spent X amount, but we didn't even make half of that in sales, but that all of that was why you were trying to get new customers. So the bottom line is getting new customers is not a bad thing, but it's expensive. So let us take cognizance and prioritize our existing customers, pamper them, give them good service. Whoever is in charge of your customer service, how do they relate to them? Is it hi ma? How are you? Have you ordered today? Or is there a particular way that makes the customer feel special so that they know that there's the way you go somewhere and say, oh, I have this customer service person in this company. Every time I go there, I always ask for her. Why? Because there's a connection and that customer is likely to come back and refer you. So that is also very important in sustaining your business because you are not always there. Once you start hiring, you are a bit on the back burner and you have staff. So you need to train them to ensure that they retain your customers for you. So business funding. There are different options of business funding. There is crowdfunding, which is family and friends, there is bank, microfinance, there is different ones. But I want to first start by saying that even in a business life cycle, there are different times in the business life that different fundings become required. So you have your start stage, which you're probably still validating. Now, the only guys that at the start stage that probably will get big funding or loans is probably your fintech, because of the valuation they place on their products, even if it's at developmental stage. But most other businesses at a startup phase, you are better still doing crowdfunding, self-funding. You can borrow your business from yourself and even grants. When you have validated to say this product does work, I want to start selling, I want to put a structure here and there to it. Grants is also equally important. By the time you are gaining some revenue, you are selling, you are seeing your growth track, you have a trend to follow. You see that you've grown X percent, 50%, 60%, 100%, then you can start considering loans. And I would share why you have to wait till that to consider loans. Equity, yes, you can, but you need to play it safe. And then by the time you are a strong, large-scale business, then it's easier for you to get loans because there is a track record there. You already have a way of churning out revenue to be able to meet your need. Your demand potentially is more than your supply. Hence, you are sure that this extra income or loan you are getting can be repaid easily. But doing that as a startup when you are yet to validate, you might be selling, but you know that you are not sure, you are just winging it. That is not the best time to get a loan, and would explain. So here I have done an Excel of the potential requirements for the different funding options that are available. All the funding options typically require your CAC. You say you are a business, so they expect that it is registered, because how do we track you? How do we take you as a serious business? Your business plan. All of them ask you for business plan. So so if you don't do it for yourself, when you need money, you would have to do it. Your financial projections, like this money that you want from us, what exactly do you want to use it for? Or how do you see yourself in the next 5 years? What kind of revenue are you looking to get to be able to pay back, or in the case of a grant, to be able to utilize this money efficiently? All the things, and thing is your tax identification, guarantors. Now, if you notice, for your BOIs and your commercial banks, they always most times ask for collateral, or collateral of your guarantor, which is why it makes it very difficult for small business owners to cross that hurdle. So you might have a lot of things, but many small business owners don't have audited financials, because you're probably not even keeping your financials properly. And even if you are keeping it properly, it probably isn't audited. So many times you have a registered business, you have records with your bank statement, but you are still not able to get a loan from the bank. And many times it's because they want an arm and a leg and your father's land that you will sell for the next 10 years to prove that you pay it back. And a lot of people can't cross that bridge. So it makes it very, very difficult for us to get loans from the commercial banks, but it is not impossible. I remember the first 5 years, initially when I tried, the books were in order. So obviously, because I came from a structured environment as a corporate, I knew from the get-go that my books had to be in order. It was a bit easier because I worked on brands, and in brands, you need to work on the financials of the brands. So if you are selling Horlicks or Panadol, you need to know the profit and loss of those products. So you don't just sell the beauty of the product, you know how much this product brings to the business and loss, and even if you're doing a promo, how much are you removing from the product cost and all of that. So I had all my ducks in a row, but when it came to collateral, it was a problem. I didn't have collateral to give. And then they started pointing things, so I moved away from there. Then I decided, you know what, let me go into grants. Why? Grants is free money. Grant is free money. Grant is money that nobody is going to collect from you. They just require that you show that you know your business, that you can articulate yourself, that you can sell your business in terms of tell the storyline of your business to them. So they're going to ask you questions, punch holes in some of the things that you do to see that is this person really worth handing over money to? Or is this person just using English to bamboozle us? And when we ask critical questions as a CEO of your business, you're not able to answer. So I think we started getting grants, and then eventually we needed to buy some machineries. And I went into a microfinance bank and they gave me. And after that, they came back and said, don't you need anything? This is your generator. It's like, you want to change it, we can help you. So once you get it right, they start chasing you. Once your books are in order and they see that you've done one, however small, the banks will start chasing you. It's not left for you to have self-will to say, you know what, I don't need it now. This thing can still hold on. Then for equity is investment funding via either investment houses or venture capitalists. And many times they get their money returns back over a longer period. But it also has its pros and cons because they have a say into your business. There might be some level of pressure on deliverables because, well, somebody's money is at stake. But ideally, they should have invested interest into your business, but you need to be sure that you are ready for that poking. You need to be sure that you are ready to be answerable to other people poking into how you're doing your business, even if you were doing it well before. Now you have someone who has invested X thousand dollars into your business. They want to see how you're using their money and to ensure that what you said you would do is what you would do, or that you seem not to be making the revenue you promised, and they're putting you under pressure to say something is going wrong, you need to pick. So it's extra pressure, but ideally you should wait till when you're a bigger growth scale business to look for investors to avoid this kind of pressure. So different types of grants, grants is sweet. I can tell you that for free. I think I've gotten like 6 grants, ranging from my first ever grant in 2019 that was my first grant ever. Was 1 million. And up until last year, I think I got 10 million and an 8 million or so. But you need to be able to tell your story. There's no other English to it. So there are different types of grants. There's government grants. You have some Lagos state grants. They have US government grants that are applicable to countries in Africa, including Nigeria. You have private foundation grants. You have your Teni Lumiledu. You have Flourish Africa. You have different grants. And you have corporate grants by the bank, which sometimes they do through pitches and different incubation hub. But to be able to access a lot of this, it's just research. Honestly, you just need to research thoroughly. Grants in Nigeria, grants for business, SME businesses, grants for women. There are a lot of women-driven grants in Nigeria, a whole lot. Everybody's about women empowerment at this point. So let's take advantage of that. Even agriculture, tech, those are grants that are winning on a steady, because they feel like those are grants that impact people's life. Those are grants that it's like a continuous impact. Even though we're helping you, we know that the help we're giving you is helping 10 other businesses or farmers or other people that you're training. And grants are not only for product-based, they are for services. I know people who have got grants because they were teaching people how to use technology and IT, or teaching people data analysis and all of that. You just need to sell your impact story. Honestly, that is it with grants. Sell your impact story and have your numbers at the top of your head, at the top of your hand, top of your head. Examples of grant providers, you've got She Leads Africa, Scale Up, Tony Elumelu. That's 5,000. That's one of the very popular ones, $5,000. You have Brave Woman. They do that every year, up to 10 million, depending on what you need. We got that, and I think we got about 9.8 for what we needed. You have Africa Women's Development Fund. You have US ADF. Her Economy Grant does that yearly. Lagos SME, depending on what you want. If you are into tech, you want to use it for education, or you want to use it for like human resource, you want to hire marketing salespeople, it ranges. And one of them also ties it to your local government. So they band it within your local government. We've also gotten that. Then there's Export Accelerator as well. So there are a whole lot of grants out there. Honestly, you just need to Google grants in Nigeria or grants for women and SMEs, and you'll be amazed at the number of grants flying around the air. And then you also have communities who have positioned themselves to be grant providers. And what they do is you are in a community and they constantly give you the grants that are available. Say, oh, this grant is now available. And some of them take their time to take you through how to apply and excel in those grants. So that is very critical. One of them is Biz Grant, BIZ Grant. She has a community on Telegram updating people. This grant is out, you need to apply. This grant is out, you need to apply. And sometimes shows you what to write, where, and how to give you a better chance of winning. I've already mentioned some of this. What makes a grant successful? Clear vision and mission. Demonstrate why you want your funding. Like sleep and wake up. If anybody taps you to say, why do you need that 10 million? You are clear. I need a cooling fan to refrigerate my product to ensure that the customer gets quality, or I need a machine to drive efficiency to meet demand. This will help us get 30% increase in demand to meet us. Like, you need to know it so clear that even you believe what you are writing. Have a structured budget on how you spend the money, and then ensure that depending on what the grant funder is looking for, you tailor your writing to tell your story to match what they need. That's equally important. So for loans, commercial banks, you have your term loans, overdraft lines of credit, you have government loans and all of that. But I would like to dwell on this slide, which is loans too soon can break you, can destroy you. It could feel like a roller coaster. It could feel like something is really pressing on you. Why? Because high repayment pressure can hurt you. If your business is still growing and you are still trying to meet needs, yet you're having to pay a 20% interest plus the capital you borrowed, and your business or the plan you had to sell is not really selling as fast as you want, that's a disaster. The fact that sometimes the loan also can hamper your growth. If you want to diversify, you might not be able to diversify because why? You are focused on any money you get, you need to pay back. If you have put collateral or assets, you might lose it. And that's why a lot of businesses, especially the ones who are limited, will claim bankruptcy, they close their business because they've literally gone over their head. But, many people will not say that. But a lot of times is the fact that they've done more than they should have done, or they spent and got money too quickly, and unfortunately they didn't manage it well and they have to close their businesses. So it's important that you be careful and we don't use our father, mother, somebody's collateral when the business is not ready for that growth scale. And then debt costs can eat into your growth capital. So your cash flow, your profits, you end up paying it back into debt. Hence, it's very critical that we're careful and we are clear at what point it makes sense to get loans. So if you are ready to scale, I just had this that I created to say, what are the things to help you grow? What are the potential ways you can grow your business? Market expansion. For us at Deals Delight, when we started, we decided, initially we started as a B2C, meaning we sold just to customers. And I decided, you know what, I don't want to do one-on-one. How long do I want to be selling one-on-one? Some people are making it one-on-one, but I want scale. And we decided, you know what, let's go into retail stores. Let's drive a distribution whereby people don't have to see my face to buy my products. People don't have to know me to buy my product. And obviously, we figured out what did we need to do. You needed to get NAFDAC, you needed to get all of that. And then we put the products, ensure the packaging was good, put it on the shelf, and then you get your market expansion. So your market expansion can be a distribution drive, a change of a distribution to say, where do I want to place my products? It could be a new region. It could be the fact that about 4 years, we decided that, okay, we don't want to do Lagos alone. I think we look like we're saturated. There are even too many options in Lagos. We said, let's expand to Port Harcourt. Let's expand to the east in total, the south. Let's go to Abuja. Let's even test the market. We tested, it worked, and we went full on board. So market expansion are ways that you can grow your business and grow revenue to be able to meet other financial commitments. Product diversification. You have a product or you have a service. What do other people who use my service do with other people? So if you are an accountant and you do tax, I know other accounting things that people do. Apart from tax, they do other things. Is there any of those other things or services I can offer? People take Greek yogurt plain, sweetened and unsweetened. Maybe I should start mango and whatever. But obviously, you will need to do your research to see people who have done it. Are they continuing? Are they selling? Have they stopped? Is there a market? Is there a flavor that is better? Even though everybody is doing something, is there a missing gap nobody has noticed that I need to tap into? But diversification helps because customer needs are different. So because somebody is doing something and thriving in it, doesn't mean that is the only way or necessarily the best way. It could just mean somebody hasn't cracked the better way. So it's always good to look at diversification. Then hiring. You're not going to do this business by yourself. However, even if we think we are the smartest, and I always say that employers should be careful not to feel like they are the smartest, hence they do most of it themselves. You will bog yourself down. The strategies you're supposed to do to push your business, you won't have time for it because why? You are chasing operations. When you should hire people, train them, right onboarding, sell your business to the employees you are hiring. Let them lead, let them understand these things, and let them run with the day-to-day while you go and look at the bigger picture. So hiring practices need to look at how do you hire. And then when you've done all of this, track your revenue, track your customer acquisition. Are we growing? Is our customer increasing? In your revenue, don't track money alone. Track volume. If you track your revenue, you could do price increase. Your money will increase. But it might only be increasing because you have increased your revenue that came into your account. But you forget that your cost of goods, the amount you bought your product probably increased, which is what even spurred you to increase your costs. So you need to check your volume. That is my volume increasing, or is it just my revenue that's increasing? Because if your volume is not increasing, then you need to drive customer acquisition, because any one customer that leaves, you will feel it. And then I've already said operational efficiency. Make sure your team members have reports. Sales would have reports. Marketing will have reports. Inventory will have a stock in, stock out, purchase reports. They would have market versus actual. This is what we plan to buy. When we go to the market, this is the amount, this is the variance. Let them give a report saying, oh, this is what we saved the business, or this is not what we saved the business. All those operational efficiencies come to you as a business owner for you to review, and then you can now give top line strategy on how do you better things versus you being the one to get your hands dirty, which will allow you to plan for the long term. Just a quick one on financial management. I can't say this enough. You need to know your numbers, budget your numbers. What are we looking to spend this month so that you can plan? What is forecasting? What are we looking to sell? So what we typically do at ours is we forecast for the year. So last year, December, January, we would have forecast for 2025. And we say, you know what, this year, this is what we did month by month, by volume, by value. This 2025, what are we going to do? And if I say I sold 1,000 pieces of yogurt, for example, and this year, I think I can sell 1, 2, but I will tell you how I'm going to sell the 200. I'm going to sell the 200 in January extra because I am going for this particular exhibition where I will sell 80. I am going to these 5 stores and I'm going to increase their stock by 40, 40, 40. Like, you must have a clear way of breaking down your forecast. It shouldn't just be a hula balloon number. There must be a way of breaking down that forecast to make it achievable by the people who will achieve it. You monitor your performance and also get an accounting software. There are a lot of accounting softwares that are not expensive. It doesn't have to be QuickBooks. There are a lot of accounting softwares that are not expensive that will help you track your numbers. And in the case that you can't, get a junior accountant to use Excel, or let them be able to tell you your cash flow, your revenue, your profits, your gross earnings, your net profit and your gross profit are 2 different profits. Your utilities, how much do you spend? What is your break even? If we decide that for 2 weeks we are closing the business because we need to rework something, what must we do in the balance 2 weeks to make sure that we don't lose out? We might not make profits, but at least we cover all our fixed costs. All of those things you cannot do if you are not recording your data and your numbers. So it's very important, because as a business owner, that's what you should be looking at. Not who did all those means, as in you just get distracted, honestly. Okay, what's next? After all that I have said, I've developed a business growth checklist that I always share with some of my clients to say, if you can confidently go through all of this and ensure that your business is saying a yes, 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 yes to all of it, then you can now start potentially looking for loans, because you have done the back work of strategy and putting operations in place to be able to generate funds with or without you. So your clear strategy must be deployed to your team members. Your revenue streams must be clear. Your readiness to market in terms of how you're going to grow your market. Your team members. I know that people complain a lot, Gen Zs, people are doing, I know, even I have those issues. I have very good team members. I have people that have worked with me 10 years, 9 years, 8 years, and I have those that 6 months, I'm like, I'm done, be going. but there would always be the good crops, and you need to ensure that you hire based on your needs. But for you to even know what you need to hire, even you need to know the kind of structure you want in your business. Don't wait for people to be exhausted and overworked before you know when to hire. There needs to be a yardstick for you to know, okay, I think if they produce X amount, 7 people can do it. But if any X amount comes, we need to add one extra person. Ensure you have a good culture. Like, what kind of business do you want? Because it flows into your staff. How engaging, what kind of, they see, they feel it. And that's what makes some people stay longer than others. Your process documentation, please, if you cannot do this, hire somebody to do it. There's a lot of process documentations flying around, policies, HR, habits. What I did in the beginning for us was I subcontracted, or I got subcontracted somebody who could do this for us, whereby the person wasn't a full-time staff but was on a retainer, came to our office once or twice a week, did our hiring, did our onboarding, did all our policies and processes, because it is not my core. It is not my strength. When I tried to do it, I spent so long and I still didn't get, I knew what I want, but I couldn't do it. So let's learn to outsource and let people who can do certain things so that you can focus on the things that will drive your business. So in terms of strengthening your team and your documentations, your SOPs, ensure that if you don't have it, you can outsource or buy or get somebody to give it to you and then implement for your team. Customer focus, have a clear um, um, customer service plan for your people. When somebody comes for the first time, what do you say? When somebody comes for the second time, what do you say? When there's a complaint, what is the channel for the complaint? When somebody is asking for a refund, what is the process? That way, either you are there or you are not there. There's a documented process. And in the event that the person forgets, they know where to refer to. And in the event that people don't follow you, on the basis of them not following you or following a process that has been laid out, then you can then follow whatever your handbook or staff policy says in terms of insubordination and all of that. And that's what works for us, because sometimes sentiments, but when you have those processes in place and you have an HR or something, even if it's a retainer HR or an external HR, those things is not even you. HR will deal with it. So all the sentiments of you dealing with the rigmarole of, hiring, you can push it to somebody else if it is not your strength. Manage your finances. We've spoken a whole lot of that. Have the tips. How much is your revenue? How much comes in? What is your cash flow at the end of the month? Cash is king. What are the payables? Meaning, what are the people that we need to pay this month that we have not paid? What are the receivables? Who is owing me? What is my gross profit? Meaning, after I remove the cost of goods, how much do I have left? After I remove the cost of doing this service, what is it? Then your net profit, meaning after the gross profit, I still need to remove utilities, tax, and all of that. The net profit is the real profit that sits in the business account that we can use for other things. What is that amount per product? What is that amount in the business? How do I want to split it? If my net profit for my product is 40%, do I want to reinvest 20% and do owner's profit 10% and keep the other 10% for running of the business? But it needs to be clear. Otherwise, sometimes you take more than you need to take until you realize that that made the business make a loss in that particular month. So that's very important. And obviously, continuous review. Let people do reports. Every department should have a report. Every person should have a form of report. It keeps them accountable. It keeps them knowing that they cannot send you an empty report. It means they did not have work. Sorry to say. So, but that helps you on top of things so that you can know what is going on at your business at every time while you chase the grants, chase the funding, chase the networks and the access and the routes to market. And I hope with these few points of mine, I have been able to help somebody. And this brings me to the end of my session.
Wow, 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 wow. Thank you so much, Ma. That was, I mean, it's not enough. That's just the truth. We need another like 20 minutes to just break down into the
I
little
actually try to
details.
rush it up. I try to rush it up.
You were rushing at the end, there's no time. Thank you so much, Ma. That was really, really, really good. Please let us see Let me see your emojis in the chat. Let me see how you're feeling. I'm sure everybody's feeling this. Like right now, I want to go and start a new business. Just for this one, I know I want to go and start a new business. Please let us say our thank yous. Let me see your emoji. Let me see that you're here with me and you're getting all these things that you're getting, because me, I'm getting so much. Thank you so much, Ma. That was really, 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 really informative. I would like to ask you to please kindly share your slides with me so that I can share with the members so that they can go through it again. It was a lot, it was really rich, but I'm sure, you know, it's something we could always go back to just to get those wonderful points. Thank you for your time. Please still stay around with us. We'll have questions after our second speaker has presented. All right, everyone. Just before we move on to the next presenter, please, I'm going to be dropping a link in the chat. If this is your first time, or even if it's not your first time, if you're not a member of Glory to Glory and you are here on this or in this session, please kindly fill this form so that we can have your details and so that, you know, we can reach out to you at, after this meeting. And if you're not a member of Glory to Glory, you can see what you are missing. Please come and join Glory to Glory. But I'll get to that at the end of the session so that because we're already pressed for time. All right, so we're going to move on to into our next session, and we have another powerhouse talking to us. Her name is Mrs. Sangoleye, and I'm going to be sharing her bio right now. So please just a few minutes. Okay. I'm sure even from our bio, you will see that we're going to be getting, you know, some serious things. All right, so this is Mrs. Sangoleye is a renowned multiple award-winning entrepreneur, nutrition educator, and the innovative founder of Baby Grubs Nigeria, a social enterprise that manufactures healthy infant meals and snacks made from grains, fruits, and vegetables. With operations in Nigeria, Ghana, and the United Kingdom, our work not only addresses critical gaps in infant nutrition, but also directly contributes to the United Nations Sustainability Development Goals, SDGs, particularly SDG 2, which is zero hunger, SDG 3, which is good health and well-being, and SDG 8, which is decent work and economic growth. Seun is a faculty member of several entrepreneurial accelerators and foundations, including Shicluded Digital Finance Company and Oak Nation Entrepreneurial Foundation, where she teaches pitching and pitch deck creation. She has served as a judge in multiple high-stakes pitching competitions, helping to nurture innovative ideas and businesses. Her expertise in this area is widely recognized, with many entrepreneurs benefiting from her guidance and insights. Recently, Seun received a prestigious scholarship to pursue a dual degree, a master's in business management and a master's in finance at the University of Michigan. This opportunity adds to our impressive academic and professional portfolio, reflecting our commitment to lifelong learning and impactful leadership. Seun was recently honored as one of the Africa's top 50 remarkable MSME founders in 2023 and recognized as a food champion by the African Women Empowerment Network in 2024. She was also acknowledged as a nutrition goalkeeper at the prestigious Goalkeepers event by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation in New York 2024 for her pioneering work in advancing sustainable nutrition in Africa. With a passion for empowering women entrepreneurs, Seun founded SeunSangoleye.com, a platform dedicated to helping women transition from micro to small, thriving businesses. Through her volunteer work, she supports at least 100 entrepreneurs annually, providing them with the tools and knowledge needed to succeed. Her extensive contributions have also earned her recognition as a Mandela Washington Fellow, the flagship program of the US government for young African leaders, and as a finalist for the Bayer Foundation Women Empowerment Award 2024. Some of Seun's, these are some of Seun's accolades. She's the winner of Rev Up Women Initiative 2024, winner of the Youth Agri-Pitch competition by the African Development Bank in 2020, winner of the Sun Global Nutrition Competition, Sun Pitch in 2020. Her thought leadership and expertise have been showcased on global platforms such as the World Bank Food Tech Innovations, the African Green Revolution Forum, AGRF 2022, Summit in Kigali, Rwanda, and the Nigerian Women Association of Georgia's annual convention in Atlanta, USA. Sheon holds a bachelor's degree in computer science from Lagos State University and certifications in programming for infants and in collaboration with UNICEF. She has also completed business and entrepreneurship training at Clark Atlanta University, USA, social sector management at Pan Atlantic University, Lagos, and is an alumni of the African Women Entrepreneurship Cooperative. Beyond her professional pursuits, Sheon mentors over 350,000 Nigerian mothers across her social media platforms, helping them navigate parenting and nutrition challenges. When she's not advocating for nutrition, she enjoys running, swimming, and listening to podcasts. She is a mom to 3 smart children who are the inspiration behind our work. Whoa, that is some CV. I'm sure we're all delighted to have Mrs. Sangoleye speak to us right now. I'm reading her CV and I'm palpitating, like, wow, that is so much to take in. So with a warm welcome, let us welcome Mrs. Sangoleye as she speaks to us this evening from our wonderful wealth of knowledge. You have the floor, ma. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. Please confirm that you can hear me loud and clear.
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear. Welcome and good evening.
Okay, good evening. Forgive me. I don't have the generosity of NEPA on my side today. But thank you very much, Mrs. Adebimpe. She has already done justice to the work that I'm supposed to do today. I don't think that I have anything more to add. It's a lot of topics in one: how to win grants, how to run a business, how to leverage loans for your business or for our businesses. I have learned a lot also, and my notes are full. And I'll just run through what I have. Maybe not everything. I'll just go to maybe the practical aspects of the thing that I want to talk about today. Please confirm how many minutes I have.
You have 30 minutes, Marcel will be stopping at 7:30.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
My time is on. Thank you. So, of course, if we are starting a business and there's no clarity, there's confusion, there's chaos, and we don't want chaos. We want to know exactly what we are doing at every point in time. And so part of the things that helps us to clarify what we're going to do is money. Money is the, like Yoruba would say, is that is the bicycle of evangelism. And what that just means is without money, you can go nowhere. So whether it's grants or loans, you need money for your business, right? And when I started my business, I didn't have the luxury of grants. I didn't have the luxury of loans. But there are so many smart ways that we can raise money. But we need clarity first and foremost, right? So we'll talk about grants. Grants are the first things we want to talk about. What are grants? Why are they important? It's simple. Grant is free money. Everybody wants grants. No, I never met somebody who didn't want grants. If you don't want grants, let me see your hand. Right? I never met anybody that didn't want grants. And by the way, if you can type how many years we've been in business, it will be really helpful for me. So if you have been in business for 2 years, 3 years, just show me. Let me see in the chat. Let me see how many years. If it's months, write month. If your business is a startup, so that I know exactly who I'm speaking to and how deep or how, the depth of the conversation, it will be really helpful. So please drop it in the chat box, how many years you've been in business. Yeah, so grants are just, it goes beyond money. Most of the time we think it's about money, but there's more. And what happens with grants, or why I love grants, is the fact that it also gives you a platform for your business. Okay, we have 6 years in business, we have startups, we have 4-year-old businesses. Oh wow, so we have a lot of diversity in the room, right? Okay. So I won't be doing a lot of talking. Mrs. Adebimpe has done my job, all right? But what I want to talk about is, if you want to get grants, there are things that you must do. I help people get grants professionally. I do it like you pay me to help you get a grant. But there are things that I cannot do for you. There are things that you must do by yourself, right? And if you are going to do it by yourself, the first thing is you need to do is to position yourself to be fundable. And it will be the same thing that you would do if you want to get married. You want to be attractive to a spouse, right? And so the first thing is when you see a grant call, read through the requirements. Check if you're eligible. What are the objectives of the grant? Are they in alignment with you? Now, the downside of grants, before I continue, the downside of grants is most people think it's free money, but it's not just free money. When you get the money free, you cannot do what you like with the money. Not all the time. Most times, every funder has an agenda, and they're going to fund you based on the agenda that they have. So you check first and foremost, does this align with what I want to do? It's easy to get some grants. I'll give you an example, case in point, USA grants. If you get grants from the United States government, you will write reports. You will write and write and write and write and write and write. You will do, even after you have collected, you will continue writing reports. Same thing with almost all development foundation or development funders do that. I've collected grants from African Development Bank, GIZ, the German Foundation. You will write reports. If you don't like writing reports, don't go and collect that grant. Because a year after they have given you that grant, you will still show how that grant is working. So you check, does the objectives, does it align with what I want to do? The cost of the funds too, there's a cost for every fund, minus the fact, even though the money is free, there's a cost attached. You need to check through. And it's easy to get grants. The second thing you need to know, besides positioning yourself, is to be impact driven. I'll still talk about how to position yourself better. Every business has to be impact driven. There has to be something that you're doing besides profit and loss. There has to be something, because most donors, they are funding transformation, not just funding your business. It's not just because they want to help you, because you are, it has to extend beyond you. Are you helping other women? Are you helping youth in your society or your community? Are you solving health problems for elderly or for children? Is there a food drought, or are there people that are living in food desert areas or in underserved communities that don't have access to some things? Are you solving education problems? You need to show impact beyond your business. How is your business helping the community to be better? You need to talk about that. You need to find an angle, whatever it is. There was one person that I helped recently. She makes shoes. She got funded, but what she was doing is also different. She was helping younger women to learn how to make shoes, but she was also paying for their what's it called? She was paying for their WAEC. She was paying for their JAM forms and things like that, right? So you also need to have a very, very strong proposal. When you have positioned yourself well, you have all your papers in place, documentation as a business. Mrs. Ademipe has dwelt greatly on that, talking about register with CAC, let your audit your account, let your paperwork be in place. All those are classic and things that you must do, right? And then you have checked that you are impact driven. You must have a very strong proposal. Your statements, if you've never done one before, you can Google online. There are so many. And a strong proposal will have a clear problem statement. It will also have a solution. And minus getting grants, this is important for you as a business owner. If your business is not solving problems, it's not adding value, and you might not be successful. So you should have a good problem statement, have a great solution to it, and not just a blanket solution. Your solution has to be unique, right? Excuse me. What is the impact? Who benefits? How do they benefit? Then the budget breakdown. What will you do with the money? How much do you need? And what do you need to do with it? This is a very important thing. Every time people come to me and say, Ashim, I need money for my business. I need grants. And then I ask them, and I'll tell you this, 10 out of 10, when people come to me and say they need to get grants, when I ask them, how much do you need? Everybody scratches their head. They have no clue how much they need. You need to know how much you need per time. And it helps to have a business plan, right? Let's not belabor this matter. And the last thing is sustainability. So if you get this grant, will you need another grant? and another grant, and another grant. When does your business learn to stand by itself? Your proposal should show how your business is going to be sustainable and not going to be grant reliant, again and again and again. So practical tips for grant application. I'm just going straight to the point so that we can talk about the other stuff. So you register your business, you have your CAC, you have your TIN, you have registered bank accounts, you have a simple business plan. Your business photos and videos are great. This one, don't skip on this one. Don't be penny wise, pound foolish. Spend good money to get good photos and videos. Be a registered business. Okay, I've said that already. Yeah, your governance, corporate governance, no matter how little, show that there's a clear distinction between you and the business. Your account should be audited as much as you can. Have reports, do bookkeeping. You can have accountants that you outsource to. All you do inside is bookkeeping. At the end of the month, they come and do your balance your accounts. They give you your income statements at the end of every month. You can do that because it might be stressful for you to do all of that by yourself. And try not to do so much. Focus on your core areas. Outsource other areas of your business to people around. There are so many simple bank apps, accounting apps, and all of that you can use. And then there must be clarity around the use of funds. What do you want to use the money for? How much? And how do you plan to grow that money they are giving you? So if they are giving you 10 million naira, 20 million naira, what will you do with it that will make more money for you going forward, right? And so to get grants, these are some of the easiest places where you can find grants. So you go to these sites that I've listed on the right, Opportunity Desk. You can sign up, subscribe to their newsletters, and check the areas that are important to your business. So for my own business, which is a baby food business, I will check areas like health. I will check areas like women empowerment. I'll check areas like employment, whatever it is. Just check all of the things that matter to your business, and they would send you messages every day, grants or available grants every day in your inbox or every week that you can apply for, because looking for grants is a lot of work. And that's the disadvantages of grants. It is very, very time consuming. The application process, the search, some grants, you will go from stage 1 to stage 2 to stage 3, and you might get it and you might not get it. So you have to be very strict about the type of grants that you apply for. Position yourself and be sure that you are well aligned with that grant so that you don't waste your time and effort on trying to raise those grants. I will get those grants, right? So I'll go to the next thing, how to run your business. You think like a builder. And I have a simple analogy that I use when I teach. So I use the pyramids. Let me reduce this so that I can show us exactly what I talk about. Okay, so this is an assignment I would like everybody to do. Immediately we get off this call, draw this pyramid in a note. Running a business is like building your business. It's like a building, or you think like a builder. So I use this strategy pyramid. I use it for my business. I use it even for other people's businesses so that they can learn. The first thing that you should know is your vision. What's your vision for your business? Because it starts with the vision. If you don't have a vision, you are not going anywhere. I've divided it into 3 main areas: the top 3, the middle 2, and the last one. So, and I'm using my business, for example, to help you understand. And I can do this for any business whatsoever, right? So our vision is to be the leading multinational company producing nutritious African baby foods for children. Now, look, you can underline some words there. If you underline leading, you underline multinational, right? And you underline nutritious, like the keywords that are in that vision. Those are the things that will inform our values, but you will get there very soon. That's what I want to be. I want the company to be leading multinational producing African baby foods, right? So my mission is to transform the way babies are fed, and support their optimal growth by reducing malnutrition through nutrition education, innovation, and consistent production of best quality, nutrient-dense, wholesome baby food. That is how I want to do it. 3 major ways. So, and that's for me as a business owner. It is you, the business owner, that will have the vision, the mission, and the values. So because I want to be leading, there are qualities that show that I'm leading. And number one is even quality. It's even in the sentence that I started with, meaning that everything that we produce must be top quality. You cannot be a leader and have anything that is subpar. Excellence must be part of our core values. Innovation is already in our mission statement. It's also in our values, meaning that we must have something new, something different, always on the edge, having something that differentiates us from the other brands in the market. Our customer service must be top notch. We are attending to people from all across the world, because we said multinational. I mean, it means that if you are speaking to us from India or China or whatever, you get the same excellent customer value. And then we are truly Pan-African, because we want baby food, African baby food to the world, right? So Pan-Africanism is part of our core values. And so what will be our goals? If we say this is our vision, our mission, our values, our goals, we have so many goals, but one of our goals will be, we want to be the top 10 baby food companies in Nigeria. Nigeria is the giant of Africa, right? So if we are top in Nigeria, we're already top in Africa. And obviously it will be easy to be top in the world, right? So that means that our goal aligns with our vision. There are other goals though, but I'm bringing out one so that you understand what we are talking about. So if one of our goals will be top 10 baby food in Nigeria, if we're going to be top 10 baby food in Nigeria, you know that there are strategic objectives that will help us achieve that goal, right? Some of the strategic objectives at that point in time will now be divided into the different departments in the business. And I always talk about 3 major departments that you must always have in your business. Number one, no matter how big or how small your business is, you must have your finance, you must have your sales and marketing, and you must have your operations. So let's just say that you're working with only those 3, and of which you can have even more departments, but those 3, they are the pillar of any successful business. So if you are building a strong business, you have identified your vision, your mission, your values. You have then clearly bring out your goals based on that. Then your strategic objective will be every department, those 3 departments. You now ask finance, how can you help us to become top 10 baby food in Nigeria? Operations, how can you help us become top 10 baby food in Nigeria? Marketing and sales, how can you help us become top 10 baby food in Nigeria? The 3 departments will now go and sit down and draft up their own strategic objectives every quarter. And it will total to what they will achieve at the end of the year, so that you can track, right? You are saying that this is how you build a business. So if they have told you at the beginning of the year that all the 3 of us, this is what we are doing for the year, and this is what we are doing per quarter. So when you know exactly what you're doing per quarter, every week you have an action plan. Every day you are coming to work with purpose. You know exactly what you are building towards, and that is exactly how you build a successful business. That is it. Every department is interpreting it based on what it means to them to align with the goals. Like I've said before, to run a business, you need 3 major departments. Your numbers, know your numbers, your financials. In your financial department, there's always somebody budgeting. There's someone ensuring that procurement is consistently being monitored and it is being efficient as much as possible. They are keeping records. They are checking that the business is profitable. And they are seeing the trend. Which one is going low? Which one is going high? What do we do at every point in time? Somebody is tracking that. The marketing and sales, they are always determining, how do we reach customers? Are there new things we need to do on social media? Are there open markets we need to go and storm? Are there, people that we need, how they are constantly working towards that? How to build a strong brand reputation, sales strategies, all of that. And then you have your operations. Mrs. Adebimbe talked about having processes. I don't know any successful business that does not have process. We have process. What we even did, our business had grown big before we did that. We had, at that time, I had 22 staff, and everything was just chaotic. I had to call them. They came to audit the business, who is doing what, who needs to go, who is underproductive. And at the end of the day, we went from 22 staffs to 14 staffs. And guess what? Our efficiency increased. Our production increased. So your business you must have, we just recently recruited a new operations officer. And this one is Oga when it comes to data. She's very, very strong in data analysis. So streamlining your processes, make sure that your efficiency is top notch every single time. Manage your inventory, your customer service is excellent. Don't belabor it. Just work. If you work on these three major areas and you build that strategy pyramid, you're way somewhere. And lastly, we want to talk about how to leverage loans. I'm just going to be very practical. I'm not going to talk too much about, that is so wide. These topics, in fact, when I saw the topics, I was like, wow, why are we talking about three major things? One thing can even be treated for a week or a month, right? And these are three major topics in one day. How to leverage loans. Loans are another source of capital, like grants. But we are only supposed to talk about grants and loans, but there are so many other ways to raise capital beside these two. So that is beyond the scope of this training. But I will encourage us to explore other ways to raise capital for our businesses. Mrs. Adebimpe talked about a lot of them. So if you are not leaning towards grants or loans, please do well to research more. But grants and loans are some of the easiest ways to raise money, right? And a lot of us are risk averse, and we don't want to take loans. Like, I don't want somebody to come and be knocking on my door that I have not paid, but they should come and seize. In fact, I heard one recently about Lapo locking people in toilets. I don't know how true that is. Recently, I had a bad debt with a supermarket, and I had to resort to one of those loan apps strategies of recovering their loans. It was only 2 text messages I sent to the supermarket, and they paid my money, right? But we don't need loans that will run into bad debts. Not all loans can be problem. Loans are really good. I have taken loans, and I will tell you that they are really, really great for your business. You just need to manage it and know when to take loans. That's the first thing. When do you take a loan? You don't take a loan to start a new business. Amber, you take a loan to expand on what you are currently doing. In fact, you don't use loans for assets unless the loan specifically says it funds assets. So if you are buying a new machine or a vehicle, BOI type of loans are great because they are majorly for asset purchase. But if you go and take a standard commercial bank loan, how will you pay back when that machine is not, maybe you have not even brought it in from China, maybe it's a custom-made machine, they have not built it, you took the loan, paid the Chinese, they built the machine over a period of time, they shipped the machine overseas for a period of time, then it came to Nigeria, then they assembled it, then you took some time to see, you went agbese. Unless you think strategically about it. If this machine lands today, starts work today, and starts making money for me, that is when you should consider loans for asset purchase. Or when you're expanding on your business operations, you already have a small shop, you already have like 2 or 3 small shop locations or grill locations, and people love you and know you. So when you open a 4th one, the word of mouth and the clientele from this one will build that other one, right? So when you're expanding or you're increasing production, you have a small generator, you want to buy a bigger generator, that is when you should consider taking a loan. Or you want to stock up on inventory. Right now, there's no tomato in the market because it's rainy season and tomatoes don't love rain, right? But you have in January or February, you have already stocked up on tomatoes and you are frozen them. And now you are you're enjoying, right? So you can stock up for peak seasons, or you are in you got business like Mrs. Adebimpe, and there's a variant that requires you to put mango, and you have stocked up on mango, and so you have mango all year round, or you have strawberry all year round, right? So that's when you take a loan, or for working capital, quick in and out. You know, you have your cash flow is not smooth. That is when you can take a loan. So don't take a loan and for naming ceremony, or to go and turn the cups over. It's Yoruba that would understand this. When they do remembrance, they will say the cups was facing right. Now they want the cups to face left. So there's a celebration to celebrate their grandmother that passed 20 years ago. Right. So if you want to leverage loans, you have to be very, very, very strategic. What is the cost of that money? I've talked about this. So what is the cost of the money? What's the interest rate? That's usually it. Is there moratorium? Are there products that are helpful? So currently I'm trying to collect a loan from a particular bank. And I asked this person, the particular loan officer, tell me all the products you have so that I can see the one that applies to me. Are there products unique for women? Are there products for no? She said, no, all of our products are the same. Our interest rate is fixed. It is X naira, X percent. So there's nothing. She was giving me a tough time on one particular document. So I made some calls. And guess what? There were other products that were better for me. So there were better interest rates. There were better repayment term, because I was going to take it for it's a single digit loan, but I was going to take it for 12 months. I got it for 24 months, and I got it for even better interest rates, right? So you should make your research too, even within the different what's it called, the bank. So there are so many grants for women-owned businesses, some that are sponsored by International Finance Corporation. There are some, there are single-digit ones now that are for women. I know Access Bank has one for women. What's this bank? Jaiz has a product for women. Even Lapo has a product for women. It's 2.75%. There's agric loan too, if it applies to you. There's so many. So when you go to any bank or any microfinance bank, ask them for their women products or agric products, or whatever it is. So ensure that the loan is not the type that will kill you. Ensure that you understand. There are so many. I have seen 4% loans per month, and at the end of the year, it's 48%. I've seen 3% loans, and that is 36%. You can negotiate for cheaper rates. So, and ask and make your research before you go for the loan. Please be very, very wise and know the repayment plan. You can ask ChatGPT. ChatGPT, I borrowed 30 million, and they said I should pay 30%. This 30 million at 30%, how much will I be paying per month? When you see the numbers every month, know that it's something you can repay. Work out your repayment plan on paper. Have a plan A, plan B, plan C before you go ahead, right? And you test before you borrow. This is a very funny story, but this one was even a small, was a small amount. Well, small is relative at the end of the day. And so this one is hypothetical, but I actually saw something online on Facebook, I think, about a woman that borrowed how much, 200K. And Lapo came and they carried, sorry that I keep mentioning Lapo. Lapo is not bad though. I have friends that they have borrowed money from Lapo. And I think that is because they favor nano businesses, people that need just 50,000 or 100,000, but somehow along the line they mismanage it. But they also give really good loan amounts. So she borrowed the 200, they came to her house, they locked the door, they carried her things, and she was hiding about, and she was pregnant with 2 young children. Her husband self-abandoned her and all of that, right? So you don't take loan to test a business idea. Like I said, you use it to expand on what is currently working or to build traction and, like that. And I pray God gives us wisdom. So for our action points, I said, build a strategy pyramid. Don't forget about it. Know your purpose, your vision, your mission, your values, what are the goals, and make sure that those goals clearly tie to the maybe 3 goals. I never do more than 3 goals every year. And those 3 goals should have clarity that is tied to your vision and mission and your values. Your goals should be clear, and any loan you are taking, it should accelerate your business. It should not be something that will bury you. And of course, structure your business. I've said it's just focus on 3 departments and make sure that those 3 departments function really well, independent of you, if you can, right? And then keep your records. This one, if you did not even hear anything that we have said today, hear this particular one: record keeping. Financials, your books must be up to date at every point in time. Thank you very much for listening. God bless you.
She has delivered another banger. Thank you so much, Mrs. Sangoleye. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I mean, this, like you said, time is not enough. There's so much to unpack, but thank you very much for giving us what you can in the time that has been allotted. Hopefully we'll maybe some other time we'll come back again to this, and maybe you can come and teach us more things, because apparently you still had a lot to tell us. All right, so now we'll be going into the question and answer session. If you have any questions, please, you can raise your hand or you can drop a message in the chat box. While we wait for the messages to come in, I saw that there was a message that had come in while you were speaking, Ms. Sangoleye, and it says, please, can you also speak on other ways to raise capital? Because you mentioned that in the middle of your conversation. You said that it's not just loans, it's not just grants. There are other ways that you can raise capital. So could you maybe just give us a hint, just mention some other ways that you think you can raise capital aside from loans and grants?
Oh yeah, over the top of my head, I would say that how I have raised capital for my business is, number one is other people's money. You can even raise from your customers. My first capital, the people that invested in my business were my customers. So what I did was to do a broadcast and say that this is the menu I have in my baby food business. Choose anything on the menu, pay into my account, and we'll deliver your product or your baby's food in 7 days, or I think, some maybe 10 days. And so I took their money, all the money that came in the first day, day one, like 001. And then I went to Ladipo, bought food processor, bought everything, and bought the raw materials and produce. So my customers actually raised my capital for me. And my distributors also can raise my capital. People that like your products, that buy into your idea, they pay upfront 100%. So they will pay. And I used to say, if they have the money that I have, nothing is stopping them from. If they have the idea or know the business, nothing stops them, because they have all the money. So they pay into my account, and then we buy the raw materials and we produce. My customers, my distributors rather, they also bankroll us. And also you can have other revenue sources in your business. Like for me, I also do trainings. I train people on how to run a baby food company. That's how we raise money. We sell meal plans. We sell baby food accessories. We do what's it called? Speaking engagements. We go to schools. We go to churches. In fact, one speaking engagements can pay you. You can pay 3 of your staff salaries in 1 month, right? So everything that has to do with your business, you can have different streams, also different revenue streams based on what you do. You can train people, you can mentor people, you can speak, you can create products, digital products in your business. Those are other ways that you make money. And most of those ones are services, so they are recurrent. They don't need a lot of work, right? It continues to make money for you. If I'm sleeping or awake, people are buying our digital products and it's entering into our account. So those are ways that you can raise money. And you also, besides money from distributors and customers, selling from other streams of income, you can also do loans from family and friends, still loans, but they are softer loans that don't have interest. and you will sleep peacefully at night. So those are very, very genius ways. I remember when I bought my very first laptop, I wrote an ebook overnight. I sold that ebook 1,000 naira and I sold 110 copies. I raised 110,000 that day and I went to Computer Village to buy a laptop. So definitely look into other streams of income in your business, besides the main business, to raise money for the business. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. All right. Do you have any other question? If you have a question, you can raise up your hand or you can drop it in the chat box, please. Do we have any other questions for Mrs. Adipimpe and Mrs. Shield? Okay. In the meantime, please, if you are new, if you are not a member of very kindly fill the form that is in the chat box so that we can have your contact and reach out to you again after this session. Okay, so I have a question that I would like to ask while we wait and see if anybody else would have a question. So I know you mentioned at the beginning that grants is like free money. And yes, and I'm going to Mrs. Sangoleye now. And I know that, yes, it sounds like free money, even though it is not free money. But so my question is, when you get the grants, the people that give the grants, is there a way they want to monitor to make sure that you're using the money properly? If you're not using the money properly, do they take the money back? Do they ask you to repay the grant? Or it's just that once you collected the money, that's the end. It's nobody's business how you spend it.
That's when the work begins. That's a very good question. And it takes a special amount of, so there was one of my friends that she got a USA grant, and part of the grant conditions was that you don't use it to build. And she took part of it to build a school. So I can't remember the details, but anyway, she had to repay every dollar that she got. So that's why it's not free. Like I said, the agenda of the funder is very critical. Not all monies are, it's not free. They are giving you to fund their own agenda. So if the agenda is to make sure that you employ more women, like African Development Bank, or CYFE grants, they are big monies, but they want to make sure that you employ more people. So they are tracking it. What's your staff strength now? How many men? How many women? What is their age? 6 months later, how many men? How many women? How many people have? And now they will track. And if you default, you will repay every dime. You will, depending on who the funder is. And for some of us that like international money, imagine repaying in dollars. So you have to be careful. Not all the money is free. It is always, and you make sure that your agenda aligns. Don't go and do something. Another case in point is one of the grants I got. Let me not even mention this funder because it's still active. One of the people that were funded, we're not many, we're just 5. And this particular lady, she's working, but she has a business. And the business is part-time for her. And so unannounced, they went to visit her factory and it was locked, under lock and key. And so when they were calling me, they were like, will we meet you? I'm like, will you meet me in my factory? Okay. It is that's my major source of income. If I close it, how will I survive? Right. So this is full time for me. And so now she's in trouble with the funders. If you are not going to align, don't collect the money, which was why I said one of the first things that you should look at is, do our values align with what the funder is asking for? Read through the fine print. Some of them, God forgive me, there are some that even your values as a Christian or your values as your moral values do not align. There's a particular funder, I would not even mention it. And I started reading things. I did not post it, or I collected money from them. That people say, you and this person have in connection. No. So please, let's be very, very careful. Not all free money is actual free money. You are paying in some way.
Thank you so much for clarifying that, because I know people just go grants free money, but yes, thank you for clarifying that. There are attachments basically to every money, so it's not a loan. You don't have to pay back, but you will pay back whether in kind or in cash. Thank you so much for that. Do we have any other questions from anybody else? Okay. I'm not seeing any questions in the chat box, and I'm not seeing any hands raised. Oh, Mrs. Adekoju has a hand raised. Please go ahead, ma.
Okay, thank you very much, Adebimpe and Sheun. Sorry, I've been on the road and I'm just getting home. I'm not very camera ready. If I turn on my camera now, nobody will see my face. I just wanted to ask, in the course of your presentation, I think I heard you say you help people prepare for grants. Is it like as a paid service? If yes, how can people reach out to you for people that need that kind of support? Thank you.
Oh yeah, yes, I do. And I love this. The service I provide is something I would have appreciated when I started my business. And so it's 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 in two ways. I help people before you even before I take you on as a client, I'll look at how ready you are. If you're not ready, I'll just give you a checklist of things to get you ready, like the things I've mentioned here. Although sometimes you don't need all of that because there are grants that even fund ideas, right? There are grants for just business. I have this idea. Can you fund it? Yes. So I will look through your business and just, that is free. I have on my website, there's a free clarity session. Once you answer the questions, there's a questionnaire on it. And I see that you're a right fit as a client, I'll book a session and we just have a quick 5-10 minutes chat, and I'll give you a checklist of what you need to do to prepare. Because if you are not prepared, you will even hurt me. I have 100% on all my clients. Once I take you on, the first application, you always get a grant. I have never had, my record is undefeated. So I won't take on a bad case that would taint my record, right? So I'll give you a checklist, and there are two ways you can work with me. I can build your deck for you, and I can also coach you. And if I coach you, you would continue replicating for life. You don't need to come back to me, because I'll give you all the skills and all the tools that you can use to again and again and again and again and again to get a grant. So it's on my website. It's my name, sheonsangoleye.com, and you can write me. My name is the same. I'm unique. There's only one Sheon Sangoleye on LinkedIn, on Facebook. Yeah, that's all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ma. Thank you for your responding. Okay, for anybody that would like to reach out to Mrs. Sangoleye, or that would like to reach out to Mrs. Adebimpe, I've dropped their social media handles on the chat box. Their website, Instagram, email, IG, whatever it is that you need, you can just reach out to them there. I've dropped it on the chat box. Thank you very, very much. I would like to say a wonderful thank you. I'm not seeing any more questions in the chat box, and I'm not seeing any hands raised. So I'm going to assume that we don't have any more questions at this point. So I would like to take this moment to say a very big thank you to both of you, Mrs. Adebimpe and Mrs. Sheun. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for the wealth of knowledge that you just came to share with us. I am impressed. I'm going to be reaching out to you, Mrs. Sangoleye, about getting a grant. I don't have a business yet, but I'll go and think about it. But thank you so much for just coming to share this with us. I know that the time was kind of short and you were both trying to rush it, but thank you. Even in that short time, we got so much. Please do well to just share your slides with us so that we can share with our members, and they could also use it for further learning, to remember the things that have been said, and also so that they could also reach out to you. Please, if Mr. Sangoleye, and if I know you say you help people get grants. If our members come to you, please, I hope there will be a discount since you are now a member of the house. So we'd just like to say a very big thank you to both of you. People in the chat box, let's just say thank you to Mrs. Adebimpe and Mrs. Sangoleye. They came to spend time with us. Let us tell them thank you. I'm sure we've all learned something new. I'm sure we've all learned something important that is going to help us with our businesses moving forward. If you're starting a business, if you already have a business, this is going to help you. So please, let's just tell them thank you in the chat box. Let us show them so much love from all of us. And